Dorcas arrived at the Barak household with nothing but a torn nylon bag, one faded dress, and a head full of broken dreams. She was 17, dark-skinned, and painfully quiet. Her eyes carried a sadness that seemed older than her years. Her village aunt had told her, "You will work in Lagos. They will feed you, clothe you, and maybe send you to school. Endure for the family." So she endured. The Barak house was grand, painted white, with flowers at the gate. To Dorcas, it was not a home, it was a palace of strangers. She was to cook, sweep, wash, and serve. And there, she first saw Moses. Moses was the eldest son, 25, tall, handsome, with a calm voice that carried authority. He had just returned from the university. Unlike others in the house, he noticed her. He greeted her, asked her name. "Dorcas," she whispered, eyes fixed on the floor. "Dorcas," he repeated gently, as though her name was sacred. That night, in her small servant's room at the back of the house, Dorcas prayed silently. She prayed not for riches, but for peace. But peace is sometimes the one thing life does not give. Dorcas worked with diligence. She was obedient, humble, never complained. Yet the mistress of the house, Madame Grace, was harsh. Every small mistake became a heavy punishment. One evening, after breaking a plate, Dorcas was slapped until her lip bled. Alone in her room, she pressed her face into her pillow and sobbed silently. That was when Moses came. He knocked softly, then entered without waiting. He carried a handkerchief. "I saw what happened," he said, gently wiping her lip. "I'm sorry for the way my mother treats you." Dorcas could not speak. Tears rolled down. Moses pulled her into an embrace. It was warm. It was gentle. It was the first real embrace she had felt since childhood. From that night, something began, something fragile, something forbidden. Days turned into weeks. Moses sought her in secret. In the kitchen, he would help her slice onions. In the corridor, his hand would brush against hers. At night, he visited her small room. Dorcas tried to resist. She knew the danger. "I am only a housemaid," she whispered one night. "To me, you are more," Moses replied. Their embraces deepened. His lips found hers. His body pressed against her trembling frame. And soon, her secret life began, the life no one must know. It was not lust alone. It was also tenderness. Moses would hold her after, whispering promises of a future. Dorcas believed him, though fear knotted her chest. In her heart, she carried both joy and pain, the joy of being loved, the pain of knowing it was forbidden. The house became a stage of secrets. Dorcas worked by day, loved by night. But secrets have a way of breaking walls. Madame Grace noticed the closeness. She saw the way Moses's eyes followed Dorcas. Her suspicion grew like fire. One afternoon, Dorcas was summoned. "Stay away from my son," Madame Grace hissed. "You are a maid, nothing more. Do your work and keep your legs closed, or I will throw you back to the gutter you came from." Dorcas trembled. She wanted to speak, but words failed. That night, she told Moses. He grew angry. "You are not a maid to me. You are mine. I will protect you." But even Moses could not fight the storm that was coming. Months passed. Dorcas began to feel strange. Her body grew weak. Her morning sickness betrayed her. She was with child. Fear swallowed her. She hid it, wrapping herself in larger clothes. But secrets cannot be hidden forever. One morning, while washing clothes, she fainted. Madame Grace rushed to her side, then noticed the swelling of her belly. The house exploded in chaos. Madame Grace screamed, cursed, and raised her hand to strike. "Who is responsible?" she demanded. Dorcas wept in silence. Then Moses stepped forward. "I am." The room froze. Madame Grace wailed. "You, Moses, with a maid, have you lost your mind?" But Moses stood firm. "I love her, and this is my child." From that day, Dorcas became an enemy in the house. Madame Grace called her names: witch, seducer, curse. The family shunned her. Only Moses stood by her. He held her hand through the storm. He promised marriage, promised to make things right. But promises sometimes die in the hands of reality. Moses's father threatened to cut him off if he married Dorcas. Friends mocked him. The weight grew heavy. And slowly, Dorcas began to see the change. Moses still visited, but his eyes carried worry, not passion. His hands trembled when they touched her. One night, she asked, "Do you regret me?" Moses turned away. "I don't know." Her heart broke. When the time came, Dorcas gave birth in silence. No family, no joy, no celebration. Only the midwife the madam brought in secretly. It was a girl, tiny, fragile, with eyes that mirrored Dorcas's sorrow. Madame Grace wanted the child sent away. "She must not bear our name," she spat. But Moses begged, and the baby stayed. Still, Dorcas was forbidden to hold her child freely. She became both mother and stranger. In the quiet of her small room, she would cradle the baby close, humming broken lullabies, tears wetting the little face. The love between Dorcas and Moses became fragments. Sometimes he was kind, sometimes distant. The weight of his family's hatred weakened him. Dorcas gave all, her body, her soul, her sacrifice. She endured the insults, the loneliness, the nights of silent tears. Yet, deep inside, she still believed in the power of embrace. The way Moses once held her, the way his arms once promised safety, that memory was her only shield against despair. One evening, Dorcas overheard Madame Grace and Moses arguing. "You must choose, Moses," Madame Grace shouted. "Your future or this housemaid." There was silence. Then Moses's voice, heavy with defeat. "I cannot lose my family." Dorcas staggered back. The words cut deeper than any blade. That night, she kissed her baby's forehead, whispered a prayer, and left the house silently. She carried nothing but her child and her pain. Years later, in a small village far away, Dorcas lived a quiet life. She sold fruits by the roadside, raised her daughter with trembling strength. Her hair grew grey early, her face bore lines of sorrow, but in her daughter's eyes, she saw hope. Moses never came, not once, but sometimes, in the dead of night, Dorcas would close her eyes and remember that first embrace, the one that made her feel human, the one that gave her both joy and destruction. Love had cost her everything, yet it had also given her the only treasure she had left, her daughter. She whispered often, "Love is sacrifice, love is pain, love is the power of an embrace." And in those words, her broken heart found its final rest.